what do you teach at schools? And do you teach only in Turkish or in English? Do you have some other activities?
Well, I hope that you don't. I hope, guys, that you don't misunderstand. I was a student at that school.
Okay.
I didn't teach myself. I was a student, so I graduated from the school. But we would have, we had a normal education. So we had math, we had all the normal subjects, right, which enable us to then graduate and go to the universities. But at the same time, the difference that we had in our school is that we had the subjects, all normal subjects like biology, chemistry, math, we had it in English, and we had it according to the Oxford books and Cambridge University Press books. But apart from that, of course, we had also the Turkish language. So I learned Turkish language basically when I was at that school.
There's a scene in the foreground. There's the Muslim, moon, like a sea, and then there's a cross, like the Christian. So what does that mean then?
Well, basically, I guess that what they wanted to convey, the meaning of that, there is actually the peace, right? Because the whole this event between the kids is because of the past, right? Because of the hatred that the war basically between the Bosnians and the Serbians. So they were Christians and they were Muslims, right? And because the boundary between this religion was too rigid, it got into the point that they started the war. And so just what I think that what they try to remind is that actually those religions, the boundaries between religions is not that rigid, right? Remember when he goes and there is an arena, there's a teacher who donated a coal to the school, right? And he says that there is only a short line between us and them, right? And so I don't want to be the one who are going to cross that line, right? And so he says that there is just the difference is in the symbolism, that one thinks that his religious denomination symbolized as moon, and the other thinks that their religion is symbolized in the cross. So there is only this symbolic difference between them. Actually, what they believe in is the same. Like Muslims, they believe in Jesus. They believe in the Holy Book, the Bible, right? I have some of the Christians here in Hong Kong. So they also believe that that Muhammad, Islamic prophet, he is also one of the descent of the Abrahamic religions. So actually, there's nothing to argue about, nothing to have a war on, right? But still, people fight basically. So what they want to convey, I guess, what they want to convey the meaning is that there should not be a war between these religions. They are actually not that opposite to each other.
Is that symbol just fictional for the drama of this film, or it actually, is there in their place?
Well, I think that in the schools, what they try to do is to show people that boundaries are not that rigid. And I think that in terms of the school, in terms of the ideas of the schools, it is true. It is true. Because in those schools, these kids, whatever they come from, whatever their color is, and whatever their religion is, they can study there together, right? So the film is full of the symbolism, which is actually in the place out there even now. We don't know, but now there are more than 1,000 schools out there in 140 countries, right? And so as we watch this film and we discuss this topic here, they're doing it somewhere there. We don't know where, but they're doing it, right? So that was the one meaning. The other meaning was they were making a rehearsal of the song, and then they shake the hands together. A white hand shaked black hand together, right? And you saw the family, which was they also, although they all the time thought that kind of a white man is a superior and we are black, so we are inferior, right? And then they witness that white man comes into their house, basically. So this is something that happens. Something that happens is actually taking place.
Peace to the world. I mean, we are one world. I mean, it's ridiculous all this fighting, but
right. What we're kind of
all this fighting, but we saved the soul. But that's crazy. I just don't like it.
Well, yeah. Basically, people. What I saw from those schools is that whether you like it or not, but you share the same world. You share the same world, and you can't draw the boundaries, right? And so you need to learn with each other. You need to learn to be neighbors, basically. And this is what where the idea comes from. So let me just spend 5 minutes of telling the story, basically, the behind of this idea. So in Turkey, during the 1970s, there was a real national crisis. Something that is now happening in Ukraine was happening there 40 years ago. So people were kind of basically the whole society just gravitated, clustered into two main camps. There were radical leftists and there were radical rightists, basically, and they were fighting with each other. There was a bloodshed on the streets, right? And so there was a person. He was a just Islamic cleric. He was a preacher. And he said that, okay, so forget what is happening on the streets, right? Just come to the mosque and see and talk to each other and see what your tradition can offer to you. All these ideas about liberalism, socialism, communism, capitalism, this all ism thing. Just leave it out there in the street. Come and to listen what our tradition can offer to us. So he was able to consolidate the street. People started to go to the mosques and they started to learn their tradition, to learn their religion, right? And so what he was preaching is that actually all the problems in this world come down to only three things. So there is a poverty, there is ignorance, and there is disunity, right? And so he said that in order to target the poverty, we need to establish some kind of associations where people can come and share their own concerns, and people who have money, they can come and to listen to the other people. So we need to establish a kind of a business associations, basically, where people can come and donate the money to people who have need. Then in order to target the ignorance, we needed to establish the schools, right? People need to go to school. They don't need to spend, all those kids, they don't need to spend their time at the streets, right? They need to have something to work on. They need to go and to learn this world, right? And so we need to establish the schools. And then the third idea was about the disunity. So what we need to do is to establish dialogue centers where people can come and where they can share their own backgrounds. There will be a difference, right? But they will share this difference and say, oh, you know, I'm a Christian. Oh, okay, who are you? Oh, I'm agnostic. I'm atheist. I'm a Muslim. I'm a Buddhist, right? Oh, okay, so, and they will be able to learn about their religions. So he did it in Turkey, and that was really successful. And in 1992, I guess, what those people, when they established schools, they established these business associations, they opened these dialogue centers. Then they realized, okay, so it helped to do it in our country. Why don't we go out there and try to help people who are having probably the same problems in this world? And so they first opened the schools in Middle East, in Central Asia, and then they opened it in Middle East, and then they just expanded, went to Africa, went to America, to Philippines. We have a school here. We have this dialogue center here. We have this Muslim business association here. So and this is basically the same formula was applied into more than 140 countries so far. And so yeah, so basically that's it. People who believe that this idea actually works, they took this idea and they brought this idea to the other people. So this is how basically it's all originated. And then they decided to, okay, so if we have this, these kids who learned something, right, and they took this idea and they liked this idea, why don't we make this Olympiad thing, Turkish Olympiad, right, when people from all over the world, people who learned ideas of tolerance, ideas of dialogue, ideas of peace, ideas of learning, loving science, loving this world, and sharing the wisdom with this world. Why don't these just kids come together and they share their stories with the people who donated money, right? Because those people who live in Turkey, there is this mother. She collects the money for the sacrifice and then she sends it, right? She gives it to her son, and then she sends it there, right? She doesn't know what happens after that. And then their kids, they come and say, oh, okay, so you remember 5 years ago you donated money to a well, right? And so I'm here. And I'm here to thank you for the thing that enabled me to drink fresh water, basically. So And then you also saw this association Kim Seyokmo, probably, that was the pocket that they would put the meat, and they donated the meat everywhere. So that is actually the poverty targeting non-governmental organization, which is present everywhere, right? And so only 1 month ago, one friend, he was going back from Philippines to Turkey, and he made a stop here for 3 days. So immediately after this, the hurricane thing in Philippines, Haiyan, right?
Yolanda. Yolanda.
Right.
The same word, the same name. Yeah,
So it's that was in November, right? I guess that was in November. So immediately they dispatched a group of 10 students who decided, okay, I withdraw my studies for 1 year. I take university in Turkey. University allows to do that. So I withdraw my studies. I just freeze my studies for 1 year. I will go there and I will help those people. So they dispatched 10 students to go to this to the poverty-stricken area, right? And so they spent there 3 months of helping people, cleaning up the debris, kind of arranging their life back, right? And they also brought the money donated for this purpose especially. So they brought the money, they tried to help those people with the money that they have, tried to help these people basically start the life all over again. And then, so their mission was completed for 3 months. His mission was completed, and so he came back and he was here. He stayed in my house for 3 days, and he told me all these stories. He showed me all these videos, and that was really kind of that was really touching. And yeah, as the woman said there, right? We opened the well, but that was just anonymous charity. Actually, you don't need to mention our names, right? It's not necessarily. So those people, they just go there, they just help people, then they go back, right? And then they go back, they start the universities, and they kind of that's for them that's a normal thing basically.